The subject of this video is going to be live-in care, and for those living with dementia, live-in care ticks all of the boxes. First and foremost, let me get rid of the myth that live-in care is more expensive than going into a care home. It's not. We would do a care assessment on the person with dementia before taking on the customer for a live-in care package, because we would need to identify the level of care needs that they have, and we can then tailor our live-in care support to them accordingly. So it would start with an assessment by our live-in care manager, Tia Hussey, and then she would draw up the contract, draw up the care plan. Then you would be able to read that and see in fine detail what is involved. And then we would select one of our live-in care team to come and move in, get to know your person with dementia, and get to know the routine in the house. It's very important that the structure of the household remains the same, that the structure of the day, remains the same, and that everything in the household runs like it always runs. Breakfast at 8, get up at 7, or whatever it is you want. It's very much what you want. And part of that care assessment is a check of the property. So in other words, checking there are no rugs or mats on the floor, because those are trip hazards and they would need to be removed for the person with dementia. Checking that the windows are clean, that the curtains work properly so that daylight can come in. Making sure the bedroom can be made quite dark at night so that the person with dementia, if they wake up, they realise it's night time. If there's a dementia clock, all the better, because that tells the person with dementia whether it's time to sleep or not. Touch operated lamps, and also those low level sort of nightlight lamps you can get that get plugged in at the electric socket near ground level, so that the person with dementia has a light, literally a lit path to get them to the bathroom and back to the bedroom. Make sure the TV is clearly visible for the person with dementia. It's in the right angle, their chair is in the right place. Checking that the furniture isn't going to be a trip hazard. Possibly suggesting bright coloured linen, contrasting linen, so that it's obvious what's the bed and what's not. Remove any pictures on the wall or possibly mirrors, because they can be confusing to people with dementia. And even if we move any furniture or remove furniture, make sure the layout of the room is the same, so the person with dementia is still familiar with it. Sometimes having wires and cables, you're used to having them there, but actually they're not great for a person with dementia. They might trip over them, they might catch themselves in them. Make sure that the carpeting edging is sound, that there's no disintegrating carpets. Outline the edge of the stairs, so in a different colour, so that the person with dementia can see where the steps are. Make the appliances easier to use in the kitchen, using clearly labelled plastic containers for storage of food. Keep clutter to a minimum. There are an awful lot of things that happen. Different coloured toilet seats, or remove the lid. That makes it easier for people with dementia to go in the right place. Label contents of cupboards and drawers. The list goes on, but I'm sure you get the gist. There are lots of checks that we can do, and that's just a sample of what we can do. So a checklist of the house to make sure it's dementia friendly when we have a live-in carer move in. Another form of checks that we do for live-in care is something called assist, and it's basically all of the the normal health checks you would probably get done at your doctor's surgery. We can do those at home now. So blood pressure, just find my list. Blood pressure, take their temperature, check their breathing and oxygen saturation levels, general alertness and general well-being. So we can do all of those as a matter of course. You know, if you wanted them done once a week for your person with dementia, we would add all those records to the database, and it will be done, you know, as part of the routine. So going back to the more general aspects of having a live-in, it's less expensive than the comparative time in a care home. So let's say a week of a live-in care assistant and a respite week in a care home. It's approximately, and it does depend on the level of care needs for the person with dementia, but it's approximately £400 to £500 less expensive than a care home. So the other benefits of having a live-in carer, of course, are that the person with dementia stays at home. They just have one face to get used to, whereas having lots of domiciliary care visits and, you know, dementia care visits coming in, it could be different people. We try to keep the number of faces down to a minimum, but it could be different people. It's a structured day at home, so it's whatever your normal routine is, that's what we stick to. That living carer is then there to take them away on trips, take them to GPs appointments, dentist appointments, you know, chiropody appointments, hospital appointments. So it relieves the family carer of an awful lot of responsibilities. Obviously, needless to say, all of our living carers are police checked. They bring with them references, and they can assist in all sorts of ways to make sure that the pressure on the family carer is somewhat relieved. So I'm going to go into the more benefits in the second video, but I just wanted to give you a quick part one, if you like, of the benefits of living care.